the other way around, let's say they're hiring a photographer and they're asking questions. What are the top of the three questions that they should ask when they're hiring a photographer?
The main question, I don't know about specific questions, but I think just like anything else, you want them to listen to you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want them to come in with their made up idea and be stubborn about it. And this is the way we're going to do it. And that ends because every client is different. Every shoot is different. Every need is different.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you have to ask questions to figure out if you're dealing with somebody who's stubborn in their ways and is going to do it just this one way, or if that person is open.
Here we go, another episode of Canada on the Rocks. I am your host, Fady Khudair, and today I am joined with one of my best friends, Seb Duperron. How are you, buddy?
Hi, Fady. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
So, Seb, you've been doing photography for ages. What are some of your most favorite subject matters when you're taking photos?
Oh, man. Cars. Cars is one. I've never been a big car guy, but something about taking photos of cars, and I'm not talking about the Cybertruck. I'm talking about 60s and 70s Mustangs, American muscle cars, or more recently Ferraris. There's what's it called there? Cars and Coffee in Ottawa. They do a few meetings at Lansdowne every summer, and the cars that show up there, they're just so amazing. And there's different car meets all over the city that I
know
can go
all
to.
about them. Thank you for referring to that, because my son has got my Sundays booked up in the summer for ages. And he's also the same thing. He'll go out and take photos and do all of that stuff and knows everything about every single car there is. But what makes it important for you? Like when you're taking as a subject matter with the cars, why is it that important to you? Why is it that sort of one of your favorite?
Because first of all, I like the design of it. I like how they looked, right? As opposed to what we see today. I feel that as far as car design goes, they're pretty much all the same, built in the same mold.
Yeah.
They all look alike. And back then, it wasn't the case. So there's that attraction, there's that romance that comes from watching movies like Bullet with Steve McQueen with the famous car chase.
Yeah. Gone in 60 Seconds is a good one, too.
Gone in 60 Seconds has a great one as well.
Eleanor, my favorite.
French Connection. Yes, Eleanor. Oh, my goodness. That's 67 Mustang.
She was sexy.
Oh, yeah. French Connection with Gene Hackman is another one that has a great car chase and all that. So I think it might come from there. But also there's so many different things that you can do photography-wise with a car. If you have access to all the details that are in the car, the front grille, the emblems, the patch, the rear with the wide tires and the two eggs, I mean, it just never ends.
You're such a guy with that, Seb. I love it. And the reason why I'm saying this, because as a subject matter, car being the subject matter, well, it's never going to talk back at you. You're right. It's gonna listen to everything you say.
Its owner will, if you get too close or touch it or whatever.
Don't touch it. Yeah. No, but that's great. What are for you guys? What is the ideal client looks like? What the ideal event or whatever it is that you like to do the most?
Ideal. I don't like that question. The ideal client is an entrepreneur who I can help along their journey, and I think. And that's what I started my career as. I started way back when. This is going back over 25 years now, at Future Shop. Back then, selling computers. And this is when computers were really expanded. Everybody was getting a computer. So I'm helping a family. I'm helping their kids with their homework because they got access to the internet at home and whatnot. So, and then I went away from that for a few decades, going more into the corporate world. So now I'm back into helping people improve their lives through my photography services, whether it is family portraits, which we didn't touch on yet, but family portraits, creating memories, headshots, helping you grow your business, product photography to sell more products, get some growth, make some more revenue. Those are the clients that I'm looking to help. And that I do believe that even today, I think it's coming back a lot more, but there is growing appreciation for the value of professional photography. Because I think we went away from that a little bit with the cameras, and phone cameras are great. It's great that we have one and we're able to, but I do think that calling on a professional photographer with their creative eye and the most of them have better gear than what you have in on your cell phone, and that say what you will, that does play a role. I do believe it. So
there's a something to be said about just taking a photo for like a memory or capturing something. Like for example, pictures that we take with the cell phones, they're not always going to be 100% great, but they're just capturing that one moment, right? It's not the same as professional photography, where it's definitely a wow factor, like
yes.
a massive wow factor, right? Like not everybody's going to go and take a course to learn everything they need to learn about shutter speed and photos and like the light, angles, all of that stuff. But you guys do that regularly. That's your professional. That's your 10,000 plus hours that you put in.
Right. And we also really buy a lot of gear. That's we call it gear acquisition syndrome. Mm-hmm. And if a photographer tells you they don't suffer from it, they're lying, because we all buy way too much gear.
Yeah.
So on top of investing on knowledge and skills, we invest way too much on gear.
Oh, yeah. And then you're always carrying a bag of some sort. Yes. I'm like, what is this guy doing? He comes to an event and he's got 2 bags. I'm like, are you moving in here?
2 bags is a minimum.
Yeah. Are you guys moving in? What's happening? Like, where are you going to put these?
I got that reaction recently when I showed up at a client's office, and I was carrying a pool buggy, like one of these beach buggies, a backpack, and it was with Rudy, and we each had our arms loaded with gear, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, yeah, we're moving in. Don't worry about it."
Well, especially like if you're delivering it at their office, right? You still want to be able to control the light. You still want to be able to control the angles. Yeah. Obviously having the appropriate gear is going to make it break the photos.
Right.
So tell me more about the gear, since we got into it. I want to know a little bit more about what goes into those bags.
Well, obviously the camera, the lenses.
If anyone is watching, do not steal his bags. Like, this is not an invitation, but just...
Lenses play a big part as well, right? There are different lenses, different focal lengths. There are zoom lenses. There are what we call prime lenses, which is one focal length. So depending on what you're going to be doing, you might need, like at an event, I'll have a zoom lens, which makes it easy for me to stand away, zoom in, and capture your candid portrait, whatnot. Whereas if I'm doing portraiture headshots or whatever, I'm going to go with prime, because I'm going to be standing at one place and capturing static subject. So that's a big part. Those are 2. You need extra batteries, because you don't know how long the shoot's going to be and whatnot. You need light most of the times. So you're going to bring either a flashlight, battery powered, or you're going to bring studio strobes if you know you're going to be able to plug them in. You're going to need diffusers or light modifiers to control your light, to control the power, to control the width of the shape, the light basically is what we call it. If you're, depending on the job, you might be bringing a background as well. So your trunk is full.
Yeah,
definitely.
I've always been fascinated about these lights. Just trying to figure out like what's the purpose.
Well, they have different purposes. They can light the whole scene for one night, and then you can have, and that's what we call a key light, because that's your main light. And then you can have fill lights. So your main light is going to leave some shadow sometimes. Do you want that? Maybe you want that shadow. Maybe that's what you're going for. If you don't, then you can use another light, which typically will be a little bit less powerful, so it doesn't overpower the first one, and just come in and fill the light on the side of a face. So
you're not getting that shadow sort of effect kind of thing.
Right. Because if you're taking a headshot, you want the person, sometimes you don't want too much shadow. It's again, here's your creativity, here's the artistic thing, and your lights are just tools that you're going to be using for that.
So for folks that are watching, if we have to put it in like some sort of a nice little 3 things that you could do when you're hiring a photographer, what are those main 3 things that you want them to do?
That you want the photographer to do?
No, that you want the folks to do when they're hiring a photographer.
Oh, I want them to tell me about their story.
Yep.
I want to know about their story. I want to know who they are, what they are. I want to know why they want photography. And I just want them to be at ease, to be comfortable, and to trust me, trust the vision that we've built together. And yeah.
So that's what you want them to know. Now, if it's the other way around, let's say they're hiring a photographer and they're asking questions, what are the top of the 3 questions that they should ask when they're hiring a photographer?
The main question, I think, I don't know about specific questions, but I think just like anything else, you want them to listen to you. You don't want them to come in with their made up idea and be stubborn about it. And this is the way we're going to do it. And that ends, because every client is different. Every shoot is different. Every need is different. So I think you have to ask questions to figure out if you're dealing with somebody who's stubborn in their ways and is going to do it just this one way, or if that person is open.
Yeah.
So whichever questions you ask to lead to that, I don't think there's really any way to judge the potential creativity of a photographer without seeing what they're going to do or seeing their previous work.
Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And that style, a lot of people refer to it as style, that the style of a photographer, you have to see if it matches with you, with what you have in mind.
So a good question would be like, what's your style looking like? Hey, do you have some photos that I can take a look at? Some
right
back.
Yeah.
Past
Like, what's your portfolio? You have a website.
Website, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, in terms of folks that are learning, trying to get into photography and all of that, what are some of the advice that you'd want to give them?
Just be a sponge. Just learn as much as you can. There are so many ways that we can learn today, from other photographers, from YouTube. There's no shame in trying to replicate a photo that you see that you liked. First, see how you can recreate that photo. And then after you've done it, after you've mastered that, see how you can adapt it to your vision, to your style. How can you make it yours? Yeah. Yes, I took this photo, this still life photo of an apple. How can I make it another photographer, Seb, did? I saw it on his Instagram. How can I make it mine now? And you'll do that through, again, exploration, explore your creativity, try things. Don't be afraid. We said it before. You're not paying for film anymore. No. And your camera is made to handle 2,000 shutter activations and more. So don't worry about taking 50 photos of the same thing until you get the lighting perfect the way you want it.
It's funny you say that, because my son, as I mentioned, he does photography and all that. He took a photography class in school, and one of the things that they marked him down was the fact that he goes to an event, for example, a soccer game, and like he's taken 2,500 photos at a soccer game, and like they were just upset about the fact that he took too many photos. So he comes to me and he's like, "Oh, I've just I've done this," and then they're like really upset, like they knocked him down a few points. And I said to him, "This is ridiculous. I'm going to talk to your teacher." And he's like, "Why?" I said, "Because to me, like, the more mistakes you make, the more you learn."
Absolutely.
If you've taken 2,500 photos, that chances are you're better than somebody that took 25 good photos. And I'm not saying like you're absolutely better. I'm saying that you've done 2,500 photos of experience. You know what I mean? And you're going to learn from those mistakes. If someone just takes 25 photos and you're starting off at the same level, they're never going to be up to your experience when you're always taking 2,500 photos and so on and so forth. Right. So I had a conversation with the teacher, and we ended up pushing that mark up a little bit for him.
Okay.
So it's just
great
stubbornness. But that's the thing. Like it's very important in any business that requires creativity or at least skill in any way, right? Like professional skill. The more you put yourself out there, the more that you actually like are in the trenches and trying out and failing and trying out and failing.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience.
It is a learning experience, and there's only one way to do it, and it's through repetition. Like, there's a lot, that can be said about the 10,000 hour rule, but for photography, I do believe it. I'm not even I don't think I've achieved those 10,000 hours yet through strictly behind the camera. There's a lot of hours that go into the rest of the business area, but sure. Yeah. So
I'm glad that you brought that up, because that also is a big point of contentions with a lot of businesses. The whole like working on the business or working in the business. Let's explain it a little bit from your perspective, what's working on the business and what's working in the business for
Well,
you?
working in the business is when I'm behind the camera, when I'm creating.
Yeah.
Working on the business is when I'm posting on social media. It's when I'm reaching out. I'm sending cold emails. I'm networking. I'm getting out there. That, to me, and I may be wrong, but to me, that's the difference between those two. And I think you have to strike a balance between the two.
100%.
Especially for me personally, if I go a week or two without taking any photos, I start itching. I start jonesing for it.
Yeah.
I got to get back behind the camera.
And that's the thing. Like the healthy balance is always the case. Like when you say working in the business, a lot of people they do a lot of working in the business that they forget the working on the business part, because that working on the business at the end of the day, it's really what's going to get you to go to the next year and the next year and the year after that, because it's focus, right? Like it's okay, working in the business every day, I'm bringing the cash register, I'm bringing in deals, I'm taking photos, people are happy, but let's work on the business a little bit and expand that experience, make that experience better. Maybe bring in cold emails, maybe bring like a different aspect of marketing, maybe bring in, oh, you know what, I used to do this, but now I'm not doing it, I'm going to do it more. That kind of stuff is really just working on the business. And I think a lot of people miss that balance. Or when it's the other way around, correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely.
If you're working on the business all the time, the cash register is not ringing.
No.
You're not bringing home the bacon at the end of the day. Like you're not making money. Sure, your website looks crisp. Your image online looks clean. Your Instagram is phenomenal. You have to strike a balance. You have to be able to get to the point where it's a little bit of, small little steps every day on each. It can't be just one or the other.
Yeah. And that's a delicate balance, and it's difficult to achieve when you're a one-person business.
Entrepreneurship,
yeah, absolutely.
Because you're wearing way too many hats.
That's right. That's right.
You're the sales guy. You're the one ringing the register. You're the customer service. You're the delivery man. You're everything.
Exactly. And that's when another skill comes into play, and that's learning to delegate.
Yes.
Or learning to outsource.
Or partner up. Or somebody that can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes a lot of people think of like, okay, well, partner up, I'm giving away half of my business. No, you're not. You're actually just bringing in somebody that's going to share that with you. And if you're working towards the same goal, the chances are you're probably going to be at least 2 times, maybe 2.5 times what you should have been before.
And you should be honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses
100%.
As well, because yes, you're an entrepreneur. Yes, you're in business, but maybe and you're probably great at certain things, but maybe there are other things where you're not as good, and improving at that in the short term might not be the quickest way or the most efficient way to go about it. Maybe you can.
And that's the kicker is finding that sort of balance in terms of like, when do I outsource?
That's right.
And is this making sense to me? Because I've been doing this for, let's just say, 3 or 4 years. I'm always the one posting. I'm always the one. But it's getting to the point where, like, this is taking 15, 20, 30 minutes of your day, and those 30 minutes can be used towards something else, and those 30 minutes can actually be outsourced for $30 versus you spending that, and that 30 minutes is going to be costing you business that could be $300 for those 30 minutes.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. And again, that's another thing. Learn to value your time as well. And I think that's today, in today's generation, and I'm talking about very general here, that's something that we've lost. It seems like we're thinking that we have so much time, and so we can go wait in line at the gas station to save 3 cents a liter.
This is when I'm like, get me out.
We can go wait in line at the newest fast food restaurant, so we can be one of the first to have the burger, instead of waiting a couple of weeks when there won't be anybody. You just walk in and walk out. Right?
Sure.
I find that we've lost that value.
Well, it is at the end of the day, like the biggest asset that anyone has is their attention, right? And the amount of attention, which is time, the amount of attention that you give something, it's really what's going to help it grow or not. But the more attention you give it, yes, it's going to go in the right direction. But if that attention can be used for 10 times better somewhere else, well, might as well put it somewhere else that's going to effectively get your business where it's supposed to be faster.
Yeah.
And then hire out for that particular skill.
Yeah.
I love it. We can talk for hours.
Yes, we can.
You know,
And we have.
We have, and then we take probably some of the most hideous and most probably good selfie as well. Depends on the day. Some days are just like, whatever, we're just going to take a selfie anyways. And you'll probably, if you go on my Instagram, you'll find a ton of selfies for Seb and I. We love doing that just because we really enjoy that sort of camaraderie and that relationship that we have. Seb, I really appreciate it. You've been on the show, putting yourself out there.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We love seeing your photos.
I'm very happy.
And I'm looking forward to many years of Seb catching me behind the lens, and I'm not even noticing, which is the best part. For folks that are watching, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching. And if you like what you see, please don't forget to hit the like button. Also, if you really want to see more and more businesses like that, don't forget to comment and let us know what you think. Good or bad, we'll take it. We got thick skin. And then also, if you really want to kind of continue seeing stuff like this, hit that bell icon and subscribe so you can get more and more episodes. And you can learn everything about businesses here in Ottawa, see all the fantastic businesses, and also our real estate part as well. Thanks again.